wrestling fans, thanks for clicking on the Greta D. Rose Report. I'm the #1 fan in wrestling. The only other people that like wrestling more than I do, or you wouldn't be clicking me on, that's for sure. Hey, Jim Ross's latest blog has got Jerry Lawler update on it. He says the King is planning to be at Hershey, Pennsylvania for the 3-hour Monday Raw, but it depends on his condition of the staph infection in his knee. If he's not available, he says, I kind of assume Michael Cole and Matthews will probably handle the Legend Themes gig. He said, I talked to Jerry for about 45 minutes Tuesday night, and he was in good spirits, improving, but no condition to travel at this time. And Ross, I guess, was asked about his book. And he says, I'm asked when I'm going to start writing my book on the 25 most interesting people I've worked with during my career in the biz. He said, first of all, I got to sell it. In other words, you got to get a publisher. They usually upfront you money on things like that, and then get that deal finalized and everything. And then he's got to come up with a list of 25 individual people. He said early 2011 if he could sell it to a publisher. All right. Also added to the Legends deal is going to be Mae Young. She's scheduled to appear on the Old School theme Raw Monday. With most of the WWE's major names on the European tour, WWE has reached out to Shawn Michaels to find out if he could go to Atlanta for the first day of WrestleMania ticket sales. So that's why they got a hold of him, and he did. And two names not on the tour over there is Triple H and Undertaker. Of course, Undertaker, he's got a shoulder surgery, so they just wanted to boost ticket sales. That's why they had the little DX people go out there. WWE production are in plans for the Old School for Raw, and assuming they're going by the assumption Lawler won't be there, so they got to do that. Considering it's a 3-hour Raw broadcast this Monday, regular tapings on Tuesday, and Survivor Series and the Raw SmackDown creative is very much looking for the middle of next week when all that's over with. They aren't going to do much, get any kind of rest as of the 29th. The TV show, the 3-hour thing plus additional 3-hour Raw in December. They got one coming up, I guess, as well as a tribute to the Troop show. And believe it or not, breaking news. Lacey Von Erich announced on her Twitter today that she's deciding to leave TNA. It's kind of funny, but I hate to be mean, but she kind of was mean for me. She says, I decided to respectfully leave TNA today, she wrote. She said, I want to try new things, be like sports hosting or, something. She says, love y'all. And then later, on her Facebook account, she said, let's face it, I'm no Von Erich in the ring. But it's so much fun. Plus, I'm getting married and would love to do something local. Lucky I live in LA, shouldn't be too difficult to find. Whew, I wouldn't count on that. All right, Von Erich, by the way, she joined TNA October 2009 to replace Angelina Love of the Beautiful People faction. Tara's character has been kind of tweaked to that of a cougar. She ain't really old enough, I don't think, to be a cougar, but creative plans calls for the 39-year-old to attempt to strike a romance with members of the Generation Me, of which are 14 and 18 years younger than her. TNA wrestling newcomer Katie Lee Burchell, or winner, celebrated her 30th birthday yesterday. And Linda Carledge, who's that? Oh, it's Linda Hogan, by the way. Former wife of Hulk Hogan has landed a book deal. Her book on TNA Wrestling Superstar and is entitled Wrestling the Hulk, My Life on the Ropes with Stephen Prigg, which tells me he's actually writing the ghostwriter or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, the publisher is describing Linda's stories as an empowering tale of compassionate, savvy businesswoman who finds courage to stand up for herself in the pursuit of happiness. Oh, am I moved? By the way, don't tell nobody, but when Linda and Stephanie and Triple H went to vote in Weston, Connecticut, Stephanie wasn't allowed to vote because she wasn't registered. No wonder her mom lost. Anyway, Joey Styles had the following on his, or had the following to say via his upcoming Old School Raw episode. He says, well, I think I told you about that. What's the big deal about seeing Old School WWE? He says, I see it every week. It's called TNA. All right. Hang on a second. All right. Online reports have speculated that Kevin Nash has re-signed with TNA, but he has one dispute. He's disputed on his Twitter account saying, I didn't sign with TNA Wrestling Company. I think what they want to do is, if they want to do a surprise, all want him to show up, do a run-in, and, unsuspecting to us, he did sign. So I think they're trying to hold it, to a minimum on it, whether he really signed or not. Anyway, according to pwtorch.com, several in TNA today have said that they were not aware of Nash re-signing with the company, although they couldn't be sure. There's been some change in TNA's creative process, as it's being said. They want to push the envelope on company programming. I don't know what that means, but it's also said that they want the commentators to make more inside jokes. They've been doing that. They have to do this little kibitzing back and forth, and I don't care too much. Small talk. One thing, I seen a 10-year-old Raw the other day, which I've told you about, and it was great with JR and the King. They described the action in the ring, they promoted it, they pushed it, and it helped, the match, and helped us listening to it. But now they just kind of banter back and forth, and I don't care too much for that. But what am I? Who am I? D-Rose. Anyway, former WWE IC champion, the Honky Tonk Man, issued the following statement via his webmaster this evening concerning next week's Old School Raw episode on Monday night, which he has been tentatively scheduled to attend. He says, HTM, Honky Tonk Man, and WWE could not come to the terms of an agreement for the Old School upcoming show. So Honky has informed WWE yesterday he no longer has a desire to participate in the event. Well, we should call it off, shouldn't we? WWE website posted, Where Are They Now, featuring IC champion Ken Patera, who is now 67 years old. Might want to check it out before it changes. I think they may do a different one every week. Undertaker had surgery this week to repair on his torn rotator cuff. No word yet on whether it's going to be ready for WrestleMania. It's got to do with rehab. CM Punk chose not to have surgery because he got a medical opinion that would enable him to rehab his torn tendon in his glute. Punk would be out of action for at least till January, but should be all right for WrestleMania, as long as everything goes right. Sheamus was limping around at TV last week and has a deep bruise on one of his legs, which I bet you can see it real good. The injury wasn't believed to be serious enough that he's going to be missing any time. And there's a lot of talk about inducting, of all things, Teddy Long to the WWE Hall of Fame next year, since it's going to be in Atlanta, his hometown. Michelle McCool got off the current WWE tour in Europe to attend Undertaker, who had surgery last week. She was there at her husband's side. Oh, Alberto Del Rio's personal ring manager, Ricardo Rodriguez, has signed a developmental deal with WWE and is training down at FCW. He was wrestling in the California independent scenes for years under the name of Chimera. And when asked about a possible return, WWE return, TNA Kurt Angle said anything's possible on his Facebook page. However, he said that he's currently a loyal to TNA employee. Angle had particularly kind words for TNA President Dixie Carter, thanked her for looking after his well-being. We should look after mine. Whew. He also said the following. He says, a lot of you want me back in WWE. I appreciate your words. I love TNA, but anything's possible. Also, Dixie Carter has been wonderful to me. She's been very caring. That means the world to me, so I would never count on WWE out, but TNA is my loyalty right now. All right, tomorrow I'll give you the highlights on the Monday television highlights that should be on Raw for the old school stuff, I guess. Oh, I'm going to give you some tips, odds and ends. Crap. Hey, thanks for clicking, you guys. I got to go.